Tell them we've got Proud Country.
Yes, we do.
Rhonda and Taylor, they're double cool.
I agree.
I'm telling you, I like every song we heard from them. But the best part of them, to me, after especially getting to know Rhonda and Taylor today, is the people themselves.
I agree.
That's always when in the music room is at its best.
It is.
When that talent meets the quality of the person. Mm-hmm. We've got that today.
I know. We're pretty lucky.
We're dang lucky.
America's lucky because not only are they awesome singer-songwriters and musicians, but they are military as well. And they're the ones that keep you safe and sound when we're tucked into our nice, warm, comfy beds every night. They're not.
Well, we're veterans now.
This show kind of started with Rhonda and I talking. I don't know how we got started talking a while back, but we got to talking probably a year ago.
Yeah,
at
almost.
Least. Yeah. And it's just trying to find the time. They're scheduled. They're booked all the time. And we'd been booked up for a long time, and we found a spot, and they're here tonight. I want to hear y'all's individual stories and then how you got together. So let's start with ladies first.
Absolutely.
I know that the gentleman that Taylor is, he won't mind that. So, Rhonda, tell us about where you were born and raised and kind of just a background and what got you into music, things like that.
I was raised in Gordon, Texas.
Okay.
It's not too far from Fort Worth, about 60 miles west on 20. Little tiny town, about 500 people when I was growing up.
Wow.
Still play six-man football.
Yeah.
And we didn't have a music program, so it was all just kind of, everybody that wanted to sing would kind of get together or whatever. But my daddy plays guitar, or he did. He's still with us, but his hands won't allow him to play anymore. He was a bass player for a while, playing in all those clubs in Mingus. Back when Mingus was Little Lukenbach.
The west of Fort Worth.
Right?
Yeah.
But whenever I was little, Mom and Dad noticed I just loved to sing all the time. I was always had a tune in my head. And so they got me one of those close and play record players. Mm-hmm. And they said I was about 2.5 years old, and I wore the needle out about every month. They had to keep a supply of needles. They said I never broke anything on it. I would just stand there in front of it and just listen. And listen to Burl Ives records, and things like that. And, of course, Kitty Wells, all those good things. But growing up in school, when I was about 13 years old, Daddy got me a guitar. Because he had quit playing for a long time. And then he was like, hey, I think maybe Rhonda could do this with me. What do you think, Mom? And my mother was like, sure, okay. He's got me a guitar about 13. He would always play the little Texas country musicals, but not like, the big shows, like Texas Opry or anything like that. You're talking the little Mason Lodge and American Legion halls and community centers where a bunch of guys get together and decide to be the house band.
Where music is where it starts.
Yes, yeah. So they'd all get together and be the house band. Well, so they'd let all of us kids get up and do about 3 songs. And anybody that wanted to sing was more than welcome.
Oh, cool.
And they would try to follow them.
It was like karaoke with the band.
Exactly. But you got a bunch of old timers that don't read music, that play everything by ear, and that were just there and available and more than willing to play. But then I went in the military at the age of 17. 2 weeks after graduation from high school. About broke my dad's heart.
Air Force?
Air Force. Yes, sir. Go Air Force. I always have to do
and Taylor's shaking his head because he's Army.
Yes. It's one of those things like whenever we go play somewhere, that's the one thing I always do. Go Air Force. Got to put it out there.
Y'all need to do the hum the theme song sometime and at the same time. Like
the Army versus the Army,
yeah. The way they did in the right
Proud
stuff.
of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the Army goes rolling along.
I'm glad y'all are on the same side.
See, can't you tell we're brother and sister?
Just about.
We should have been born blood. But went in the Air Force at 17. Like I said, I started out in law enforcement. That was a lot of fun. Not
Boy, I bet
really.
guys loved having you pull them over.
Well, see, in the Air Force, it's law enforcement. They had different pieces. So they had the security police, security services, and law enforcement. Law enforcement had Marine Corps and then Navy and Air Force. And so I went from being in the Air
So it was
Force.
a combined force.
Yeah, so like joint forces, but only for law enforcement. The other specialty services for security were off on their own. But so I woke up in the Air Force, left basic training, went across the base, and became a Marine.
Wow.
I didn't know that was part of the whole story. But, learning how the Marines do
Did you have
business.
to save your head, too?
No.
Oh, darn it.
If you look at my song Freedom Fighter out there, you'll see a picture of me from basic training.
She's 12.
I look like I'm 12. Yes, I do. But I've got bangs that are like an inch long, maybe.
Oh.
Because my technical instructor, that was one of the things she told me, if you don't get that hair out of your face, I'm shaving you bald. So that wouldn't help me. And they did it too back then.
Oh, yeah. So did you cut your own bangs?
No, actually, a barber actually did that to me.
A shame.
I know.
Wow.
I was like, oh, well.
Our barbers only knew one haircut.
That's right.
But I got into a really good relationship with that barber, and so every time I needed a haircut, because I was there for a really long time with my additional training after that, and then I got hurt and had to stay and all this kind of stuff. But he knew me really well, so I would always go to him for my haircuts.
Did you finally quit chopping your bangs up to here?
Yes.
Good.
So, yeah.
Let them grow and grow.
Let them grow and grow. But yeah, I enjoyed my time in the military. Wish I could have stayed in.
You had said earlier that you're from a family of military.
Yes, I am. My dad he didn't serve because it was during the Korean War. And there was this thing about if you had daughters and no sons, so he couldn't volunteer to go. He didn't get pulled to go.
Oh, drafted.
But his he sure always wanted to go though. Him and all the other old guys. I remember when Desert Storm first kicked off. They're all like, "Let us go! We'll take him out! Let us go!" But
They should have.
yeah, I know, right? But his brother served in Vietnam. I have several cousins that served in Vietnam. I have a brother-in-law right now who is a medic on a sub. Other brother-in-law is Marine Corps. My husband's stepdad, I guess they call it stepfather. No, not really. He is my father-in-law.
Yeah.
I guess is what you call it. He's Marine. Matter of fact, one of my husband's stepbrothers he's a colonel out at Camp Pendleton.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
And then you have daughters that are in the
Yes,
service.
my oldest daughter went to the Air Force Academy. Very proud of her. Matter of fact, Heather Wilson, who went on to be, I believe, Secretary of the Air Force is what she was filling. She actually is the one that got her in to the Air Force Academy. And so she was in the academy for 5 years because she did a year of prep and became a logistics officer.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I have another daughter. She's actually my bonus daughter. She's my husband's daughter, but she's a bonus to us. She was stationed at McConnell. She was in the Air Force as well. She's in the video. All my kids are in my Freedom Fighter video.
Oh.
I know this is going to be out of context, but something that came into my mind earlier when y'all were singing the last couple of tunes is I'm hearing like Carter family type stuff going on. And that was really cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a huge compliment.
You're enormous.
Thank you so much.
It's true though.
Yeah.
Y'all
sound really good.
You had that vibe brought up to date, but
Right.
The 4-syllable
yeah.
word is not
Just
supposed to be.
4-syllable ground.
ground.
So, question for you.
Fool.
Noil.
Did your you mentioned that your dad bought a guitar for you. Did he teach you to play?
Well, parents teaching their children to play the guitar. In a small town like I was in, everybody had to play. We played sports. That sports is what we lived and breathed. You know, from 5:30 in the morning until almost midnight. It was either basketball, track, tennis, cheerleading, drill team. Everybody had to participate in order to have a team. So I would come home from playing, and he wants to play the guitar. Bless his heart, he just wanted to teach me. But all I'm seeing is I'm exhausted. These strings hurt my fingers. And I love you, and I really want to play, but not right now. And if I could go back in time, oh my gosh, the things I could have absorbed from him. Because I didn't really. I knew when I went in the Air Force that I would be gone, but I didn't realize, I would be stationed all the way out in California, and then back in Texas, and not getting to get to come home at all. Mm-hmm. I just assumed you all get to come home. Well, you have to have money to come home, and as an airman, you have no money. So, and then I had kids right away, so
had even less money.
Even less money, yes. And so, it's like, I guess I can't go home anytime I want. So I went about 5 years without getting to come home at all. So it was pretty rough. But now I'm getting to play.
Yeah.
Because my husband that I'm married to now, he was actually my high school sweetheart.
Oh, cool.
He went in the Army. I went in the Air Force. 24 years later, we met back up.
Wow.
Thank you, Facebook. And so...
now, how long ago was that?
10 years ago.
Okay. And at what point in time did Proud Country start?
And, well... There's quite the story before.
I know there's more in there, but I want to get over to Taylor here in a minute.
We started in. We actually became officially Proud Country in August of this past year.
Okay, so
in August of 2018. So, but we met in March of 2018.
Okay,
at the VA.
At the VA, competing for the National Veterans Creative Arts Competition. The 2 songs that we did.
Right.
He did Same Star, and I did Tell Yesterday Goodbye. And so we met at the VA. I was leaving. And he was coming in to record, and they have something called Volunteer Musicians of Parker County, which is a really cool thing. So, and they meet in the city of Weatherford, and I had seen him play a couple of times there, but other than that, we had never really talked much. And so, I was leaving and stopped and talked to him and his, as he says, his beautiful wife, which she is beautiful, his wife Brandy, and
who's also his childhood sweetheart.
That's right.
His high school sweetheart.
Yes. We're going to work it backwards here.
Yes, so that's what's really cool. And so I was like, hey, are you playing anywhere around? Because I'm finally getting brave enough to talk to people about it and don't care about getting shot down. And he was like, well, yeah, I'll play around. I knew you played at the Finish Line, which is a little bar outside of town. And
Honky Tonk.
Honky Tonk, yeah. Mm. And he was like, well, next Friday I'm playing at the VFW in Minter Wells. And I was like, do you ever let anybody sit in with you? And he was like, well...
No.
Never before, but sure.
No, yeah, he was easygoing. He's like, sure, why not? I'm sure he's thinking I'm crazy. And I get there, and he even put my name on the sign and everything.
I didn't know if she'd show up or not.
He even put my name on the little board, or somebody did, the little board in the bar and everything. And,
cool.
And we sat down and started playing together and just immediately started playing off of each other, and
it's a good vibe.
Yeah, and we just been playing together ever since.
Now I want to stop right there and then come forward to this, but I want to go to this young man's history.
Thank you for the young.
I appreciate you that. Are compared to me.
Compared to him, hell, you're a spring chicken.
That's right. You just begun.
That's right.
Tell us your history, and I want to, where you were born and raised, and bring us. I know you and I talked. You've got a big story to tell.
Yeah,
and this is a great opportunity to tell it.
Yeah. I grew up in, we actually lived in Roanoke was our address, but it was in the county. We had a small farm out there, and my grandmother chose to put me in the Keller schools. I was raised by my grandparents. And we went to a Church of Christ where I learned harmony and shape notes and all those types of things. And but when I was 8 years old, I wanted to play an instrument like my papa. He played the harmonica, but he didn't want anybody else playing the harmonica in the family because that was his thing. So he said, "Well, you gotta be able to take your teeth out to play the harmonica." And of course, I believed him at the time, and he said, "Woman, get that boy a guitar." And so she went down and got me a guitar and gave me a John Denver book.
Aww.
And I think it was my third grade talent show. I played John Denver's Grandmother's Feather Bed in the third grade.
That's cool.
And so then when in middle school, I joined the band, played trumpet, learned a lot more about music and that sort of thing. And after high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just knew that I wanted to go to college. And I saw this big billboard that said $30,000, join the Army for 4 years. And I said, okay, sounds like a good plan for me. So I did, and that was January of 1990, and of course we know what happened in '91. I ended up in Desert Storm, and it kind of snowballed from there. I just kept re-enlisting, and so I spent 20 years as 13 Fox Forward Observer. My job was to call in indirect fire for either close air support, aircraft, artillery, naval gunfire. That was my job. So I didn't have the comforts of home. Whatever places I went.
Go Air Force.
I didn't have the comforts of home. But when I got out, I reconnected with my high school sweetheart, and she was living in Illinois at the time, and her and her sister had talked and kind of knew that. And now, granted, our families had known each other forever and a day from church way back in the day, and knew that something was off with me, and so she came down from Illinois, and that was 2011. And then in 2013, I attempted suicide due to PTSD, and I did it by drinking myself to death. I just got tired of it. They kept telling me, if you're going to keep drinking, you're going to die. I said, well, I don't be here anymore. I'm done with the pain. I'm done hurting. And so one night, I just turned up a bottle of rubbing alcohol, and I drank a bottle of mouthwash. I drank bottle of cologne, and I didn't wake up, and ended up 3 days later. I guess I was in a coma for a few days, 3-4 days, and when I woke up at the VA in the oncology ward. And I remember thinking to myself, I am in the worst pain I've ever been in my entire life, and to say that to someone like me with my military experience, that's a lot. And I hurt all over and realized what I'd done to my body, but I just had this warm feeling like in my heart. Even though the rest of my body hurt, something felt good. And I didn't have a white light or anything. I don't remember seeing a white light. I don't remember that. I just remember waking up and feeling like I have something I need to do. And I didn't know what it was. It was God telling me, the way I thought is God saying, hey, you got something you got to do. I just didn't know what it was. I never played music professionally ever. And so I was at the VA. I just gotten the diagnosis that I had 6 months to a year to live at the time, and they didn't bother. Well, they said that I had to be sober for 6 months, but they didn't think I was going to live that long, so they didn't even bother putting me on a list for a liver transplant. So I was in the VA, and I'd just gotten that news, and my wife and I were in the rec room, and we saw a guitar sitting in the corner. And I asked the nearest lady came by, and what was that for? She said, we have a guitar class here. I said, well, I've played since I was 8 years old. And she said, well, we're always looking for instructors. And I said, well, I was still in a wheelchair, so I didn't think I could teach much. So I showed up as a patient in a first session, and the second session our instructor didn't show because of work related. And so I volunteered to get up there and teach, and I've been teaching now for 6 years. It's a beginning guitar class for disabled veterans called Guitar for Heroes at the Fort Worth VA. And through that and my, to church, God, my beautiful loving wife, and my veteran family, I'm still here today. And thank the Lord I'm still here. So
Amen.
Anyway, and I would never have thought 6-7 years ago that I would be doing this, that's for sure. Or even, my thought back then was I was going to just be a guitar teacher and drift off in the sunset, and with my disability and, my VA disability and all that other stuff, and I was good. But God had something else on my heart, and I'm following it.
Good.
I think you're on the right path.
I do.
Yes, sir.
I'm curious, were you, you said that you met up with your wife. She came down from Illinois.
From Facebook.
Yeah. Isn't that great?
Facebook.
But now, were you guys married when you tried to commit suicide, or was this before you were married?
Yes, we were married.
You were?
Yeah.
Oh, I bet she wanted to just right in the behind.
There was that. I put that woman through. I say that woman, that lovely, beautiful thing, through a situation that no one on earth should ever have to endure. Your spouse committing suicide, and the doctor's telling you he ain't gonna live today, and that was every day. They just don't think he's gonna make it today. But one day I just woke up. Well, I didn't just wake up. It didn't. It was slowly, but anyway, yeah. I mean, it was hard on her, and we've done some. Thankfully, the veteran resources out there, they do have some organizations that take you and your spouse as well and help you with counseling on both sides. And
God wasn't through with you.
No. God wasn't done
right.
with us. So we went to Idaho and spent a week up there fishing and counseling both, and with groups of veterans, and learning to, because I was one of a bunch of people with the same issues.
Oh yeah. No, you're not alone.
No.
The thing is, though, is that you weren't successful at killing yourself.
No,
that was the only saving grace.
That was the only saving grace. I was unsuccessful at it, and I just tell people, man, I'm hard to kill. I mean, people tried for years, and I can't even kill myself. I was going to wait for God to do it.
Well, I'm glad you didn't succeed. That's for sure.
Now, y'all are at the VA.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, you decide, at what point in time does Proud Country kick in? Right there. Y'all meet. You go sit in with him.
How it started, from my point of view.
Okay.
Who is this bossy?
Because we are doing a show with Proud Country,
right.
so we got to get to that soon.
From my point of view, I had gone that day up to the VA to record my entries for the contest, and I met Rhonda, and I'd heard Rhonda sing, and again jams and things like that, but I hadn't really met. And she just asked me, and I thought, you know what, I don't get paid for these. I do these for fun, the VFWs. I'm a member of the VFW. I'm actually the district entertainment chairman, so I'm in charge of entertainment for
You're doing it for
4
the music.
counties. Right.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, for music, but and I don't get paid, so sure, come along. And she came down, and
you get your money's worth.
we had a great time. And the songs are off sometimes. Yeah, get your money's worth.
Rhonda, don't look at me like that.
The songs were off a little bit, but you know what? We just had a good time, and
it was fun.
And then I talked to her about some other opportunities playing VFWs, and that's where I started, with just entertain veterans. That's how it started, and from there to, well, of course, I started playing in coffee shops too. You play anywhere anybody let you,
Right.
and then when we got together is kind of when everything just kind of took off.
Yeah. But you decided you were going to be Proud Country.
We were on our way to Kansas City. We were playing. That's right. We were driving. First, we'd never take 8 hours, 8-hour drive together. Never been
in the car together
ever. And we drive 8 hours to Kansas City for the national VFW National Convention, and we got to play that night for them. It was wonderful, incredible crowd. And then that evening, they invited us over to a place called Bar Louie, so we played another 3-hour show that evening to benefit the Desert Storm Memorial that was going up in D.C. So we did that, and then the next morning we drove straight home.
Back.
And I think it was in the car when we started talking about, what are we going to do with this?
Where are we going to play next?
Right. What are we going to do with this? I don't know. And then, what are we going to call ourselves? I have no clue.
Did you guys just play standards, or did you play your songs, or did you guys write some songs real quick? Or
At first?
Yeah, like when you very first got together.
When we first got together, I'd only written one song in my life, and that was Same Star. So I didn't have a plethora of originals to draw on, but I've been playing covers literally all my life, and we don't just play covers. We rearrange covers. We take rock and roll songs and make them country. We take, she took a Purple Rain into a country song. I took Tuesday's Gone into a country song. We took an R&B song and turned it into country. And we just, we just tried to arrange stuff that worked for us.
Right.
And yeah, so that's what we started playing at first. We didn't start writing until probably a year later. No.
We've only been writing for like 2 months.
Yeah, so I mean, it was a year later before we started writing together.
Dang, y'all.
But you've been writing longer, haven't you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I wrote a few that I wanted to get on a CD because at the time my dad was sick, and so I wanted to get this on this CD for him so that he could be able to hear it. Thank God that he's still with us.
So I think when you and I first started talking, you weren't Pride Country yet.
No, we weren't.
You
no,
were
no.
just talking.
I
You were
was
saying.
just,
You said, "I think I'm going to bring this guy named Taylor with me."
yeah. I was like, yeah, and it's funny too because
nice
it
to
was
be an
kind of
afterthought.
It wasn't until yesterday? That was like yesterday that we changed the bill, right?
Yeah, it was one of those things where we weren't quite sure. We didn't know exactly what was going to happen, because life happens.
Yes,
And I work a 50-hour week, and then try to do this on the side, and so sometimes it all just gets all jumbled and in the way.
Helen understands that.
I know you do. But yeah, whenever we started talking really about it and saying, we've got something here, it's, and both of us being veterans, and then he asked me to come play with Guitars for Heroes for him to help out to be as an instructor, and let me tag along for quite a few different events that he had, and then it was kind of like, well, neither one of us really wanted to play alone. It's so much more fun when you got
Oh, yeah.
you got a partner with you,
But at that point, for me, it was when I played alone, something was missing.
Yeah.
There was a harmony missing. There was something else missing, and I guess when I started thinking, well, the only way I can do this is the right way, and so we're just going to give it 110%, and that's what we did.
I think Helen and I understand that totally because I don't feel. I mean, I did a lot of solo shows over the years before I met her, but after I met her, I don't seem like I should do a solo show anymore.
It's weird. It feels like your arm is missing or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't do this.
But you started.
We were saying at the funeral yesterday, and she said, "Are you sure you want me to come up there?" And I said, "Well, yeah."
Well, they
used
did
to
it
you being
again.
there.
That was, my name. They had his name all over it. It's like, and then they said, "Oh, we can't wait to hear Randy play." I'm like, and sing and da da da. I'm like,
Well, it's my old high school.
and I was like, Randy, they have no clue I'm going to sing with you, and I just don't want to step on any toes. Maybe you ought to get up there and just do this yourself. And he's
You're
like,
stepping
no.
on my toes if you don't get up there.
That's what kind of happened with us. Is that everybody at the VFWs, of course, knew Taylor, and people knew Taylor from. He was in Parker County Lifestyle, and
I was on the cover of Parker Lifestyle
And they did it,
magazine and Weather for Now and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
yeah, and
And
so
y'all know our friend Brett Watts from over
yes,
there.
Yes.
Yeah.
He had us.
Done
he
one of
invited-
his shows. So
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
He invited me to
Good.
come play. It's one of those things where he invited me to come play on the Songwriters
He didn't
in the
invite
Realm.
me. I just
Yeah.
got to join
He didn't
in.
know you. See, I love going to music festivals, my husband and I. And my whole thing is they can keep the big show. I just,
I want to tell you,
Play all
y'all.
night.
I want y'all to promise me next year that you enter in Kerrville.
Yes.
I don't
I
know.
want y'all because y'all can go there next year and win it.
that would
Yep.
be awesome.
And we have the connections that can get you there.
That'll
Get you in there. Just get you in there. I want y'all to submit your material.
We
to
will.
Absolutely.
When submission?
Yeah.
Yes.
Next year.
Yeah, you're too late for this
the funny
year.
thing is we've had the winner of the Kerrville for the last 5 or 6 years has been here a few months before
They win.
That's
Before they win.
awesome.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So
We
would
give
love
you
to.
that good
We'll do it.
mojo.
Yes.
That's where I'm going.
We'll do it. Point us in the direction.
I
This
can't.
has
I
been
can't.
fun.
I really can't wait to see where you guys go because if you've just been doing this for this short of period of time, I mean, wow,
Yeah.
y'all seem like you have just you have a comfortable pair of shoes together. You
Yeah.
just everything's great. Sounds great.
God.
You know,
Godsend.
we have a incredible voice coach who works with us together. His name's Don DeVoe. Worked with Kelly Clarkson back when she was
okay,
younger. And he helped us helped me recognize because I didn't know a lot about the voice and necessarily the human voice and the vocal cords and that sort of thing. Well, he explained to me why we sound so good together. And it made perfect sense. It's an oddity. We have the same timbre in our voices, and it's very rare for a male and a female to have the same exact timbre. but we
So you're
somehow do.
trans-timber.
Exactly.
Good one, Jim.
I knew we're going to be
We have
tender
a-
specific.
Yeah,
Oh
we're gonna
my
be.
goodness.
But anyway, it's just been a blessing the whole way.
Amen.
Amazing.
Yeah. Well, y'all are a blessing to
They
us.
are a blessing.
You really
They a
are.
blessing.
Oh,
And
thank
to
you. And y'all-
everybody that hears you, so just keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, sir.
Don't change a thing. Keep writing. Look for the songs. Also, guys, look for other songwriters' songs that you can pick up that do what we all do.
Absolutely.
Because you may find one or two. Helen and I have always been able to find a few of our friends that have real cool songs that we can take somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and so look for those type things too.
I'm in the Fort Worth Songwriters Association.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
You know
We are
Jim
too.
Nitschke then.
oh
So,
yeah,
we've been-
everybody there is so wonderful.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
really good. I like Rob and the whole bunch.
Oh, yeah.
They're great people.
Absolutely.
Great. All of them. We miss you guys too. I haven't been over there lately, so I apologize.
Yeah, it's
about
been a
that.
while for me because usually it's not practice.
Something going on.
There's something going on.
Yeah.
Right.
But guys, will y'all come back and do a live show for us next year?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
We're gonna.
Just give me that
see-
date.
to.
Okay. I'll have you a date within 24 hours.
Thank you, sir.
Awesome.
Hey,
Thank
when you
you.
guys play your shows, do you sit on the chairs or do you guys stand? Does the band stand up?
We stand. We stand. This is rare for us.
That's what I was going to say.
Um,
Sitting down.
It
And you know, it just helps to sing with air. You know,
Yeah.
and when you're standing up, you can get that full chest air. So
And I like to move around a lot.
yeah, we both.
Shake
She
your
likes to
booty.
move around a lot more than I do.
He's
but-
gotten better though. He used to just George Strait it, you know. And now he actually moves around.
I do move around a
You see?
little bit more.
There
know?
you go.
Well, it was the military bearing. You got to have the military bearing. You know.
Well, when you guys come do your live show, you can move around.
We
We'll just clear the
appreciate it.
stage
There
for
We'll
you.
let
go,
you
there
shake
you
your
go.
booties all night long.
Hey, the good thing is I have to sit still, but I don't have to be quiet because if I have to do both the same, I just implode. Forget it.
That wouldn't surprise me a bit.
I don't do well.
You guys keep doing what you're doing. Don't
Yes, sir.
change anything, man. Don't change anything.
Thank
Just keep doing it.
you.
And you're in the music room.